Insects. They're f***ing crazy. But so are we. Come along as I explore the sexual wonders of the six-legged world. This is Insex.
We find ourselves in a lovely field in early summer. The sun has set, the crickets are chirping, the asshole mosquitoes are biting, and of course the fireflies are flashing. Or if you're from certain areas, you might say, the lightning bugs are flashing. Aren't they beautiful? But have you ever wondered, why do fireflies flash? To answer this question, let's turn our attention to a lovely human couple engaging in a very modern form of sexual communication. These flies are eating me alive, Jesus Christ.
This is the process of sext messaging, or for those of you who happen to be old farts, sexual text messaging. By using cell phones to transmit pulses of radio waves, horny humans can convey their sexual desires over great distances, or short distances.
Believe it or not, fireflies flash for pretty much the same reason that people sext message, to declare that they are DTF, down to f***.
A male firefly flies around and flashes, hoping to catch the eye of a female. If she's interested, she'll turn in his direction and emit a return flash. After a series of confirmation flashes, the male will land and mount the female. And minutes or hours of sexy time will follow.
To produce their trademark glow, fireflies employ special light-emitting organs located in their abdomens.
Inside these organs, an enzyme known as a luciferase acts on a molecule called luciferin in the presence of oxygen, ATP, and magnesium ions. This chemical reaction produces light.
The flash patterns of different fireflies are anything but random. In fact, they're a lot like Morse code, with messages being defined by alternating patterns of on and off.
Fortunately for the fireflies, these patterns tend to be species and gender specific, minimizing confusion. Photinus pyralis males produce a characteristic J-shaped flash every 6 seconds. These Photurus males flash several times in rapid succession every 4 seconds.
But here's the fun part. As long as you know the proper flash pattern, you yourself can attract certain species of fireflies. All you need is a simple light source like the LED on the back of a cell phone. I can demonstrate this for you, but first I will need to acquire a cell phone. And I think I know just the right place to get one. Hey, nice dick pic. Hey, I'm going to show you how to attract fireflies of the species Photinus pyralis, one of the most common fireflies in eastern North America. These fireflies produce a very distinct J-shaped flash. First step. The moment you see an airborne firefly flashing, which will usually be a male, immediately count from 1 to 3, and when you reach 3, point your LED in the direction of that firefly and flash for about half a second. Like this. See a flash, 1, 2, return flash. If you're lucky, the male will come a little bit closer and flash again himself. At this point, you want to repeat the process. 1, 2, return flash. If you continue to be lucky, the male will come closer and closer to the point where he'll land on you or even your cell phone. 1, 2, flash. He landed on me. He landed on my finger. Sorry, little guy. No punani for you here. Look at that. Magical. Now that we've explored the question of why fireflies flash, we now need to ask that question again. Why do fireflies flash? Other insects don't flash, and they manage to reproduce just fine. Presumably, flashing offers fireflies some sort of reproductive advantage. To discover what this advantage might be, we need to put ourselves in the shoes of a firefly. Or rather, the glowing ass of a firefly.
Indeed, the luminescence of fireflies is unique and remarkable. But what if we turn the lights off?
This may surprise you, but there are actually some species of fireflies that cannot flash, at least not as adults.
And of course, there are tons of other types of insects that cannot flash at all. Nevertheless, these species are sexually successful. How do they do it? Well, some use sound, some use color,
and as is the case with non-luminescent fireflies, some use chemical signals, pheromones.
Imagine that this smoke is a pheromone. Pheromones can persist over a large area for a long period of time. They don't take a lot of energy to produce, and they are very species-specific, making it hard for predators to eavesdrop on them. But they're not perfect. Air turbulence distorts pheromone plumes into discontinuous filaments. Male insects can locate females by following these filaments upwind, but this process can be quite arduous. So, what am I getting at? Well, pheromones don't always offer a great deal of spatial specificity. They can be difficult to localize. In other words, they might let you know what neighborhood a female lives in, but they won't readily give you her home address. And all that time a male spends searching, he's using up precious energy, and he's vulnerable to predation.
Which brings us back to the advantage of flashing. Flashing offers a great deal of spatial specificity.
Nothing says, "Here I am," quite like a big bright glowing ass. And when it comes to having radiant rear ends, beaming booties, and dazzling derrieres, fireflies take top prize.
However, just like pheromones, flashing is an imperfect solution.
First, flashing requires open spaces to be practical. Light can't travel very far within dense vegetation. Second, flashing requires darker conditions. Fireflies are ill-equipped to compete with the sun, or with man-made light pollution.
Third, flashing can attract unwanted attention, deadly attention.
When I was a young boy, like many young boys, I could be a little shit from time to time. Some children collect fireflies in jars, but I preferred striking them with a baseball bat. They would explode on contact, showering my baseball bat with glowing yellow goo, which of course I thought was the coolest thing in the world. So, needless to say, not all attention is good attention. And beyond attracting evil little boys, flashing can also attract the eternal nemesis of fireflies, the so-called femme fatales. Imagine you're a man searching the internet for the woman of your dreams. Finally, you find her. She sends you all the right signals. So you meet with her for an evening of romance, and maybe some casual sex. At last, it seems you've finally found true love. But then, you suddenly realize that something is wrong. Terribly wrong. As it turns out, this woman is interested not in romance, but in a meal. Fortunately, this sort of behavior isn't common with people, but it is common with female fireflies of the genus Photurus, also known as femme fatales. These females can be several times the size of their prey, males of the genus Photinus. They often possess signal repertoires, allowing them to replicate the flashes of female Photinus fireflies. So when a male Photinus firefly receives a flash from what seems to be a reciprocating Photinus female, it may in fact be a Photurus female, a femme fatale several times his size who wants nothing more than to eat him. And by the time he lands next to her and realizes this, it may be far too late. Beginning with the soft tissue near the head, she'll spend minutes or hours devouring him alive. When she's done, all that remains is a mangled husk. A lesson of caution for all males.
So, there you have it. What I hope was an illuminating look into the sex lives of fireflies. I hope it was as erotic for you as it was for me. Until next time, this is Insex.